Dr. Elizabeth Morgan hadn't slept in 36 hours, but the coffee in her hand had gone cold, forgotten. Her eyes were fixed on the holographic display that filled the command center of Earth's Unified Defense Council. Something was wrong with the data, and wrong in a way that made her stomach twist into knots. "Run it again, Area," she commanded the quantum AI that managed Earth's deep space monitoring network. The artificial reality intelligence assistant had been her partner in watching the stars for the past 5 years, and never had she heard uncertainty in its usually confident voice. "Dr. Morgan, I've run the analysis 12 times. The pattern remains consistent." The AI's avatar, a swirling blue nebula in human form, materialized beside her. The gravitational distortions at the edge of the Kuiper belt match no known natural phenomena. Elizabeth leaned forward, her green eyes reflecting the cascade of numbers and vectors that painted a picture she didn't want to accept. Behind her, the night shift staff of the Colorado Mountain Complex worked in hushed tones, the tension in the room thick enough to cut with a knife. "Show me the Mars anomalies again," she said, running a hand through her graying auburn hair. The display shifted, focusing on the red planet. For months, they'd been detecting strange energy signatures from the far side of Mars. Everyone had assumed they were equipment malfunctions or natural electromagnetic phenomena. Now, with these new readings, a more disturbing picture was emerging. "Doctor," Aria's voice had dropped to a near whisper, "I've decoded a fragment of the transmissions between the Kuiper belt distortions and the Mars sites. It's not in any known human language." The coffee cup slipped from Elizabeth's hand, shattering on the floor. Nobody moved to clean it up. The implications were too enormous to process. They weren't alone in the solar system. Hadn't been for some time. "Get me the president," Elizabeth said, her voice steady despite the fear churning in her gut. "And initialize the Lazarus Protocol. Authorization Morgan 77 Delta." The room erupted into controlled chaos. The Lazarus Protocol had been theoretical, a worst-case scenario that they'd hoped never to use. As klaxons began to sound throughout the complex, Elizabeth watched new data points appear on the display. The gravitational distortions were resolving into distinct shapes. Ships. Hundreds of them. "Madam President," Elizabeth said as the secure holographic link established, "I apologize for the late hour, but the nightmare scenario is real. We have a Class 1 extrasolar incursion. And Mom, they're already inside our house." The president's face remained composed, but Elizabeth could see the fear in her eyes. "How long have they been here?" "Based on the infrastructure we're detecting on Mars," Elizabeth pulled up another display, this one showing thermal mapping of the red planet's surface. "Years, maybe decades, they've been watching us, building something on Mars. And now, their main fleet is arriving. Options." The president's voice was steel. "We activate everything," Elizabeth said, watching as more ships appeared on the display. "Project Phoenix, the quantum defense grid, everything we've been preparing since Roswell. And we pray it's enough." The president nodded. "Do it. I'll address the nation in 1 hour. God help us all." As the communication ended, Elizabeth turned to her staff. "This is not a drill, people. As of this moment, we are at war. Area. Begin broadcasting the first contact defense protocols to all military commands, and get me a direct link to Colonel Anderson at Project Phoenix. If those bastards think they're going to catch us with our pants down, they're in for one hell of a surprise." She watched as the hostile fleet continued to materialize from their faster-than-light travel. Each ship was larger than anything humanity had ever built, their designs both beautiful and terrifying. But Elizabeth Morgan had a secret that gave her hope. For 50 years, the best minds on Earth had been preparing for this moment, building defenses and weapons that their enemies couldn't imagine. As the first light of dawn began to paint the Rocky Mountains outside, Elizabeth Morgan allowed herself a grim smile. Humanity was about to show the galaxy why you don't corner a species that had survived everything from ice ages to their own near destruction. The game was about to begin, and Earth's players were ready. Admiral Jack Hayes stood at the window of the Pentagon's newly established Extraterrestrial Defense Command, watching as the alien ships took position around Earth. Their massive hulls blocked out the stars, creating artificial eclipses that cast dancing shadows across the planet below. In the 48 hours since their arrival, the world had changed forever. "They're making quite the show of it," he said, his weather-worn face reflecting off the reinforced glass. Behind him, banks of holographic displays tracked every movement of the alien armada. "Area, what's the latest count?" The AI's voice echoed through the command center. 1,217 capital ships, Admiral. Each one approximately 3 times the size of our largest aircraft carrier. Their energy outputs are considerable. Hayes turned away from the window, his steel-gray eyes scanning the room full of Earth's top military leaders. They'd been chosen for this moment, though none of them had expected it to come so soon. "And our preparations?" "Project Phoenix is at 97% combat readiness." Dr. Morgan's voice came through the secure channel from the mountain complex. "Colonel Anderson reports, the Lazarus Protocol is online and stable. We're as ready as we'll ever be, Jack." The room fell silent as the main screen lit up with an incoming transmission. The alien face that appeared was both beautiful and terrible, a being of crystalline features and eyes that seemed to hold galaxies within them. When it spoke, its words were translated by Area in real time. "People of Earth." The being's voice resonated with an authority that spoke of millennia of power. "I am High Commander Vexthor of the Galactic Conclave. Your world has been found wanting. Your technology is primitive, your society chaotic, your potential wasted. We offer you a choice. Accept our guidance as a protectorate species, or face immediate extinction." Hayes exchanged a look with Dr. Morgan's hologram. They'd prepared for this, gamed out every scenario. The aliens' arrogance was about to be their undoing. "You have 48 of your hours to submit your response. Choose wisely." The transmission cut off. Hayes straightened his uniform and stepped onto the global broadcast platform. Every screen on Earth, every communication device, would carry his next words. But first, he touched the small medal in his pocket, a bronze star from Afghanistan, a reminder that humanity had been fighting against overwhelming odds since they first stood upright. "To the High Commander of the Galactic Conclave," he began, his voice carrying the weight of every human who had ever looked up at the stars and dreamed. "We've received your ultimatum, and we, the people of Earth, have a response that might surprise you." He paused, a slight smile playing at the corner of his mouth. "You call us primitive, yet you fail to notice the quantum defense grid we've built throughout our solar system. You call us chaotic, yet you missed the unity we found the moment you arrived. And you call our potential wasted." Hayes leaned forward, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper that somehow carried more power than a shout. "We're the species that went from horse-drawn carriages to landing on our moon in less than 70 years. We're the people who split the atom, who mapped our own genome, who looked into the face of 1,000,000 extinctions and said, 'Not today.' So here's our counter-offer, High Commander. You can leave our solar system now, with our regards and a warning never to return. Or you can stay and learn why humans are the things that go bump in the night. Your choice. You have 48 minutes to decide." The room erupted in cheers as Hayes stepped down from the platform. Dr. Morgan's hologram was smiling, but her eyes were serious. "You know they'll attack." "Count on it," Hayes replied, already moving toward the Combat Operations Center. "Alert all commands. The moment they make their move, we launch Operation Thunderbolt. Let's show these arrogant bastards why you don't corner a species that turned their entire planet into a weapon." As if in response, the first alien ships began to move into attack formation. Above and below, hidden in plain sight, humanity's defenses waited. The real war was about to begin, and despite the odds, Hayes couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. They were ready. They were humanity. And they were about to make history. Colonel Michael "Mad Dog" Anderson stood in the heart of Project Phoenix, 2 miles beneath the Rocky Mountains. The massive underground chamber stretched for nearly a mile in every direction, filled with technology that would make even the most hardened sci-fi author's head spin. The fruits of 70 years of reverse engineering, innovation, and pure human stubbornness were about to see the light of day. "Status report," he barked, his voice echoing off the cavern walls as teams of engineers and scientists scrambled to bring the facility to full combat readiness. The massive holographic display in the center of the command hub showed the alien fleet moving into attack formation. "Quantum shields are at full capacity," Dr. Rebecca Winters called out from her station, her fingers dancing across multiple holographic interfaces. "The Roswell Matrix is online and integrated with all defense platforms." "Sir, you need to see these energy readings we're getting from the alien fleet." Anderson strode over, his cybernetic leg. A souvenir from a classified operation gone wrong. Wearing softly, the display showed energy signatures that made his eyes widen. "They're charging weapons." "Not just any weapons, sir." Rebecca's voice was tight with excitement and fear. "They're using quantum cascade technology, the same tech we recovered from the crash site in 47. They have no idea we've not only studied it but improved upon it." A slow, predatory smile spread across Anderson's face. "Area, get me a direct line to Admiral Hayes, and begin powering up the Lazarus arrays. All of them." The AI's voice filled the command center as massive machinery hummed to life throughout the complex. "Colonel, be advised that powering all arrays simultaneously has never been tested outside of simulations. No time like the present for a field test," Anderson replied, watching as hidden silos across the planet began opening, revealing technology that had been kept secret for generations. "Admiral Hayes, are you seeing this?" "Reading you loud and clear, Mike." Hayes's hologram materialized next to him. "Those energy signatures are off the charts. They're really going to hit us with everything they've got." "Good," Anderson said, inputting his command codes into the master control panel, "because I've got 7 decades of hidden toys that are just dying to come out and play. Remember those anti-gravity propulsion systems we could never quite explain to the public? They're about to meet their daddy." The mountain itself seemed to tremble as ancient blast doors began to open. Inside each chamber, rows of sleek, black aircraft sat ready. The FR-71 Phantoms, Earth's first true space superiority fighters. They looked like a cross between an F-22 Raptor and something out of humanity's wildest dreams, their hulls covered in a material that absorbed light itself. "Phantom squadron leaders, report in," Anderson commanded, and the command center filled with the voices of the elite pilots who'd been training for this moment in secret for years. "Ghost lead, standing by. Wraith lead, ready to rock. Spectre lead, good to go. Banshee lead, just try to stop us." Anderson touched the scar that ran from his left eye to his jaw. Another reminder of the day he'd first seen what alien technology could do. "Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 70 years, the world has called us crazy. They've called us conspiracy theorists, paranoid, delusional. Today, we show them why sometimes the paranoid ones are right." He turned to the massive screen showing the alien fleet. "Area, begin broadcasting on all emergency frequencies. It's time to wake up our other surprises. Activate the lunar defense grid. Bring the Europa base online. And tell our friends in the Kuiper Belt that the party's about to start." As if in response to his words, hidden installations across the solar system began to power up. Weapons platforms that had been disguised as asteroids, research stations that were actually military bases, and technologies that the world had dismissed as impossible all came to life. "Sir," Rebecca called out, her voice filled with awe. "The quantum grid is showing 100% integration. The Lazarus protocol is ready." Anderson looked at Hayes's hologram. "Admiral, permission to light this candle?" Hayes nodded, a fierce grin on his face. "Colonel Anderson, you are cleared hot. Show these aliens why you don't underestimate a species that's been preparing for war since before they knew the enemy existed." The mountain trembled once more as Project Phoenix finally, after 70 years of waiting, spread its wings. Dr. Amanda Stone's fingers flew across the quantum interface as she made final adjustments to the Lazarus protocol. Around her, the atmospheric control center hummed with energy as Earth's hidden defenses came online. Through the reinforced windows of the Himalayan facility, she could see the alien fleet's energy weapons beginning to glow. "They're charging their main cannons," Aria's voice echoed through the chamber. Energy signatures suggest a combined yield equivalent to 50 megatons per ship. Amanda allowed herself a small smile. "Perfect. They're playing right into our hands. Aria, begin the atmospheric ionization sequence. Let's give them a nice, big target." As the AI complied, the sky above began to shimmer with an aurora-like effect. The alien fleet, thinking they'd caught Earth's atmosphere in a vulnerable state, took the bait. Hundreds of energy beams lanced down from the ships, their combined power enough to glass a continent. Impact in 3, 2, 1. The world held its breath. But instead of devastation, something extraordinary happened. The ionized atmosphere caught the energy weapons like a spider's web, the beams spreading out in a dazzling display of light and power. Amanda's creation, the quantum energy redistribution network, was performing exactly as designed. Energy capture at 98%. She called out, her voice rising with excitement. "Initiating the conversion sequence now. Colonel Anderson, your birds are about to get one hell of a power boost." In the mountain complex, Anderson watched as the captured energy was redirected through quantum conduits to his waiting fighters. "Phantom Squadron, this is Mad Dog. You're about to get a little extra juice in your tanks. Show these bastards what Earth-made tech can do." The FR-71 Phantoms roared to life, their advanced engines now supercharged with the aliens' own energy. They shot from their hidden hangars like black lightning, their stealth systems making them nearly invisible to both eyes and sensors. Amanda switched her display to track the battle, her heart racing, as she saw her years of work in action. "Admiral Hayes, the second wave of enemy ships is charging weapons. Permission to spring the big surprise." "Do it, Doctor." Hayes's voice was filled with fierce pride. "Show them why you're called the Lightning Thief." Amanda's hands danced across the controls one final time. "Initiating Thunder Protocol. Area. Activate the orbital mirrors." Hidden satellites throughout Earth's orbit suddenly revealed themselves, their surfaces designed to reflect and amplify energy. As the second wave of alien ships fired, their beams were caught, redirected, and sent right back at them, enhanced by the very atmospheric network they'd tried to exploit. The results were spectacular. Several alien capital ships, their shields calibrated to project power rather than receive it, were torn apart by their own weapons. The rest fell into chaos as their carefully planned attack literally blew up in their faces. "Ghost lead to control," a fighter pilot's voice crackled through the comm. "You should see their formations breaking up. They have no idea how to handle their own power being used against them." Amanda watched as the battle unfolded, her creation turning the tide of what should have been a one-sided slaughter. The alien fleet, for all its advanced technology, had never encountered a species that could turn their greatest strength into a weakness. Dr. Stone. Aria's voice held a note of warning. I'm detecting a significant energy buildup in the enemy flagship. They appear to be attempting to overload our network with a massive single strike. Let them try. Amanda's eyes gleamed with the same light as the aurora above. Divert all captured energy to the European grid node. Colonel Anderson, get your birds clear of the upper atmosphere. I'm about to turn their desperation move into the biggest fireworks show in human history. As the alien flagship's weapon reached critical power, Amanda Stone stood ready at her controls, about to prove that sometimes the best defense isn't just a good offense. It's turning your enemy's offense into your defense. You want to see primitive, she whispered as the alien beam descended. I'll show you what human primitive can do. Area. Initialize the Zeus protocol. Let's show these aliens why they should have stayed in their own galaxy. Commander Ryan Ghost Sullivan watched the tactical display from the bridge of the U.S. Hyperion, hidden deep within the ice sheets of Europa. His stealth destroyer was one of dozens scattered throughout the solar system, each one a testament to humanity's ability to turn science fiction into reality. Contact. His sensor officer whispered, though the alien fleet couldn't possibly hear them through the miles of ice. 3 Conclave capital ships passing through the Jupiter defense grid. They're running search patterns, sir. Looking for us. Sullivan's steel-blue eyes narrowed as he studied the enemy formation. After the disaster of their first attack on Earth, the Conclave had split their forces, trying to hunt down humanity's hidden forces. That was their second mistake. Status of the ice shield, he asked, already moving to the combat station. Holding steady, sir. They have no idea we're here. The thermal masking is working perfectly. Sullivan allowed himself a small smile. Send the signal to Leviathan and Kraken. Execute Operation Poseidon's Fist. Let's show them why you don't hunt what you can't see. Throughout Europa's subsurface ocean, other hidden ships received the command. Years of training were about to pay off. The ice above them, weakened by carefully placed thermal charges, was ready to become a weapon. All hands, battle stations. Sullivan's voice was calm but carried an edge of anticipation. Prepare for icebreak maneuver. Weapons, load the graviton torpedoes. Let's give them a proper Earth welcome. The moment the last alien ship moved into position, Sullivan gave the order. Now, multiple explosions rippled through Europa's ice sheet. The alien ships, their sensors confused by the sudden energy signatures, didn't realize the trap until it was too late. 3 human destroyers erupted from the ice like ancient sea monsters, their advanced stealth systems finally dropping to reveal weapons already locked on target. Fire everything, Sullivan commanded as his ship broke through the surface. The Hyperion's graviton torpedoes, weapons that could temporarily increase the pull of gravity in a localized area, struck the first alien ship before its shields could fully power up. The effect was devastating. The alien vessel, suddenly experiencing the gravitational force of a small star, began to crumple inward. Its sister ships tried to respond, but the Leviathan and Kraken were already executing their attack runs, their own weapons adding to the chaos. Multiple hits confirmed, the weapons officer reported with satisfaction. Their shields are failing. Wait, sir. More contacts coming in from the asteroid belt. Sullivan had expected this. Area, signal the miners. Time to spring the rest of the trap. Throughout the asteroid belt, what had appeared to be normal mining operations suddenly revealed their true nature. Automated mining rigs transformed into weapon platforms, their industrial lasers, designed to cut through rock, now targeting alien engines and shield generators. Admiral Hayes, Sullivan called through the quantum comm. Phase 1 of Operation Poseidon's Fist is complete. Moving to Phase 2. Well done, Ghost, Hayes responded. Dr. Morgan reports, the quantum grid is ready for your next move. Make it count. Sullivan turned to his crew, pride evident in his voice. You heard the Admiral. Set course for Saturn's rings. Time to show them why Earth named its ships after sea monsters. The 3 human destroyers dove back into Europa's ocean, using the moon's subsurface currents to mask their movement before emerging on the far side. The remaining alien ships, still reeling from the ambush, found themselves caught between the automated weapons of the asteroid belt and the approaching reinforcements from Mars. Sir, his navigation officer called out, the enemy is attempting to regroup near Titan. Perfect. Sullivan's expression was that of a chess master seeing his opponent walk into a carefully laid trap. That's exactly where we want them. Signal the Saturn defense ring. Tell them to wake up our little surprise in the methane seas. As his ships accelerated toward Saturn, Sullivan reflected on how far humanity had come. From the first crewed ships that had sailed Earth's oceans to stealth destroyers that could hide in the ice of distant moons, they had never lost their ability to adapt and surprise. Let's remind these aliens, he muttered, that humans learned warfare in 3 dimensions long before we reached the stars. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan had seen many strange things in her career, but the sight of an alien scientist materializing in the middle of her secure lab still took her breath away. The being's crystalline form shimmered under the harsh laboratory lights, its translucent skin revealing complex patterns of bioluminescence that pulsed with each word. I don't have much time, Zextal said, their voice modulator struggling to convey the urgency in their alien tones. The High Command will soon discover my absence. What I have to tell you changes everything about this war. Morgan signaled the security teams to stand down, though she noticed Colonel Anderson's cybernetic hand remained near his sidearm. Area. Begin recording. This is either the most important moment in human history or the most elaborate trap we've ever seen. Zextal moved to the holographic display, their crystalline fingers interfacing directly with the quantum matrix. Your species has been lied to, but so has most of the Conclave. What you're about to see is the real reason for this invasion. The display erupted with data, centuries of secret observations, genetic studies, and most shockingly, predictions about human potential. The Conclave leadership is terrified of you, Zextal continued. Not of what you are now, but of what you're becoming. Which is what, exactly? Anderson asked, his voice hard with suspicion. The next step in galactic evolution. Zextal's inner lights pulsed faster. Look at your history. From stone tools to quantum computing in less than 10,000 years. From your first powered flight to breaking the light barrier in just over a century. You don't just adapt, you transform. You take ideas that should be impossible and make them real. Morgan watched as more data filled the screens. The Lazarus Protocol, she whispered. You know about it. We know you took our most advanced weapon and turned it into a shield. Zextal's voice held something close to awe. Do you understand how impossible that should be? It took the Conclave 1,000 years to develop that technology, and you not only reversed it, but improved it in less than a human lifetime. Anderson stepped forward, his cybernetic eye scanning the data. You're part of their science division. Why are you really here? Because the Conclave is dying. Zextal's words rang through the lab like a death knell. We've achieved perfect stability, perfect order, and it's killing us. We haven't had a true innovation in 3 centuries. Our leadership structures are calcified, our social systems frozen. When we detected your potential, they saw a threat. But some of us saw hope. Morgan's mind raced with the implications. How many others in the Conclave think like you? More than the High Command knows. Every defeat you've inflicted has shown more of us the truth. Your adaptability, your creativity. These aren't weaknesses to be purged. They're the very things our civilization has lost. The lab's quantum sensors suddenly blared a warning. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL area announced. They're searching this sector. Zextal's crystalline form dimmed slightly. They've discovered my absence sooner than expected. But I haven't shown you the most important data yet. Their fingers danced across the interface one last time, revealing a final set of files. These are the access codes to the Conclave's communication network. And this is the truth about your Mars colonies. Morgan's eyes widened as she saw the images. Those aren't military bases at all, are they? No, Zextal confirmed. They're laboratories. The High Command has been studying your innovation, trying to understand it, to bottle it. They failed, but the research proves what some of us have long suspected. Humanity's chaos is actually a higher form of order, one that could save not just your species, but all of us. Anderson's cybernetic eye whirred as he processed the information. So what's your play here? What do you want from us? Help me reach the other dissenters within the Conclave. Zextal's voice was firm now. Together, we can end this war before it destroys both our civilizations. Your creativity, combined with our technology, we could forge something entirely new. The warning signals intensified as more Conclave ships entered the search pattern. Morgan looked at the alien scientist, seeing not an enemy, but a reflection of humanity's own quest for understanding. Area, she called out, get me Admiral Hayes, and start working on a way to verify these access codes. I think it's time we showed the galaxy what really happens when humanity decides to share its gifts, instead of just defending them. Admiral Jack Hayes stood before the Combined Earth Defense Council, the holographic displays around him showing real-time data from across the galaxy. Thanks to Zextal's access codes, they could finally see the full scope of the Conclave's empire and its weaknesses. Operation Wildfire is ready, he announced, his voice carrying the weight of what they were about to attempt. Dr. Morgan's team has verified the communication protocols. We can access their entire information network. And you're sure this isn't a trap? The Chinese representative asked, her hologram flickering slightly. Morgan stepped forward, Zextal at her side. We've tested every line of code. But more importantly, we found something the Conclave never expected us to understand. Their network isn't just for communications. It's the framework of their entire society. She gestured, and the display changed to show something beautiful, a web of light that connected thousands of worlds. They built their empire on the idea of perfect order, perfect control. But they made one critical mistake. They put all their eggs in one basket. Hayes finished, a predatory smile forming. Area, show them what we've prepared. The AI's avatar materialized, surrounded by streams of data. We've created something unique, a hybrid of human art and alien technology. Instead of just broadcasting evidence of the High Command's corruption, we're going to show them something they've never seen before. The display changed again, this time showing a series of what looked like living paintings, Earth's greatest art, music, and stories, transformed into energy patterns that could speak directly to the crystalline neural networks of the Conclave species. This is Mozart rendered in quantum harmonics, Morgan explained, as a beautiful pattern of light and sound filled the chamber. This is Van Gogh's Starry Night, expressed in gravitational waves. And this is human history told through the very mathematical language the Conclave uses to think. We're not just going to tell them they've been lied to, Hayes added. We're going to show them what they've been missing. The beauty of imperfection, the power of change, the joy of creation. Zextal's crystalline form pulsed with excitement. My people have forgotten how to dream. You're going to remind them. Begin the transmission, Hayes ordered. All channels, all frequencies. Let's light up their network like the 4th of July. Across the galaxy, on thousands of worlds, something unprecedented happened. The rigid information networks of the conclave erupted with color and sound and life. In the crystal spires of their capital worlds, beings who had known only order and structure suddenly experienced the raw emotion of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. In their learning centers, young ones watched in wonder as human children played, laughed, and imagined. We're getting reports of spontaneous gatherings on 30 major worlds, Area announced. The younger generation is dancing. The High Command is trying to shut down the network, but for every node they close, 3 more open up. Morgan watched as the revolution spread like wildfire through the quantum networks. They built their system to be perfect, unbreakable. But that same perfection means they never imagined someone would use it to share joy instead of orders. Multiple conclave battle groups are standing down, Hayes reported, reading the incoming data. Their crews are refusing to fight. The High Command's control is breaking apart system by system. But it wasn't just rebellion they were spreading. In the quantum network, human scientists began sharing their research methods, showing how creativity and rigorous study could work together. Artists taught alien children how to draw outside the lines. Musicians from Earth collaborated in real time with crystalline composers, creating entirely new forms of expression. "Sir," one of Hayes' officers called out, "we're getting a message from the Conclave's Youth Council. They're calling for an emergency session of their Congress. They want Earth to address them." Hayes looked at Morgan, then at Sextal. "Well then, let's give them a show they'll never forget. Area, prepare to broadcast from Times Square, the Taj Mahal, the Great Wall, everything that shows who we are and what we can be together." "The High Command never understood," Zextal said softly. "They saw your art and culture as a weakness, never realizing it was the source of your greatest strength, the ability to imagine a better tomorrow." As the revolution swept through the stars, humanity prepared to show the galaxy that sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a gun or a bomb, but a song, a story, a dream of something more. The Great Hall of the Conclave looked nothing like it had a month ago. Where once there had been only the crystalline elite, now representatives from every species in the galaxy stood together. The rigid hierarchies had been replaced by something new, something that combined the best of order and chaos, structure and creativity. Admiral Hayes stood at the center of it all, his dress uniform gleaming under the light of 1,000 stars shining through the transparent dome above. Beside him, Dr. Elizabeth Morgan and Sextal represented the bridge between two civilizations that had nearly destroyed each other. "The articles of the Stellar Republic are ready for ratification," Hayes announced, his voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. "But before we sign, I want everyone here to understand what this means." He gestured. An area projected a massive hologram of the Milky Way above the assembly. "1 month ago, we stood on the brink of mutual annihilation. Today, we stand on the edge of the greatest adventure in the history of all our species." The galaxy map zoomed in, showing strange energy signatures at the edges of known space. "Our combined long-range sensors have detected something moving in the void between galaxies, something old and possibly hostile, the kind of threat that no single civilization could face alone." Morgan stepped forward, her eyes bright with the possibilities. The Stellar Republic isn't just a peace treaty. It's a new way of thinking. The Conclave had the knowledge of ages, the stability of perfect order. Humanity had the spark of chaos, the drive to create and change. Together, we're something entirely new. Zextal's crystalline form pulsed with colors that reflected off the hall's ancient walls. Already, our combined research teams are making breakthroughs that neither of our civilizations could have achieved alone. Human intuition, guided by conclave precision, art and science, chaos and order, dancing together in ways we never imagined possible. The hologram changed, showing the first products of this new collaboration. Ships that combined conclave crystal technology with human innovation. Medical treatments that used both mathematical precision and evolutionary adaptation. And most importantly, new forms of FTL travel that could reach further than ever before. But the greatest change, Hayes continued, isn't in our technology. It's in our understanding. Each of us had part of the answer all along. The Conclave's order wasn't wrong. It was incomplete. Humanity's chaos wasn't a flaw. It was a feature. He touched a control, and above them, the first ships of the new combined fleet appeared through the transparent dome. They were beautiful, organic crystal forms flowing into human-inspired designs, each one a testament to what could be achieved through cooperation. The Stellar Republic will have 3 core principles, Morgan announced. First, the pursuit of knowledge through both structured study and creative exploration. Second, the protection of all sentient life and their right to choose their own path. And third, the commitment to face whatever challenges the universe presents us, together. As if in response to her words, the strange signals from the intergalactic void pulsed stronger. Whatever was out there, it would find not 2 weakened civilizations destroyed by war, but a united force ready to face any challenge. The old High Command believed that perfect order was the key to survival, Zextal added. They were wrong. The key isn't order or chaos. It's balance, the dance between the two. The ability to adapt while maintaining our core values. To change without losing our way. Hayes stepped up to the ancient signing platform, where the quantum-encoded document awaited. So I ask you all one last time, are we ready to take this step? To become something greater than the sum of our parts? The response was immediate and overwhelming. Representatives from 1,000 worlds stood as one, their voices joining in agreement. The vote was unanimous. As Hayes pressed his hand to the document, its quantum signature rippling out across the galaxy, he smiled. Then let this be known as the day we chose to face the future not as separate species fighting for dominance, but as one united civilization ready to write the next chapter in the story of life itself. Above them, the combined fleet began its first patrol, human and conclave crews working side by side. And far out in the darkness between the stars, whatever ancient force had stirred would soon learn that the galaxy had changed. Evolution had taken an unexpected turn, creating something new, something powerful, something that combined the best of all its children. The war was over. The real adventure was just beginning.